100% my most frequently asked question. I get comments about this every single day, and I have made videos about it before, but apparently you guys didn't see those ones. So today, we're covering it again. We're gonna get it out of the way. We're gonna go in detail. I'm gonna give you the answers. Now, of course, with the premise of this whole channel and doing my best to provide information for you, I get a lot of questions, but there's definitely one question that I get more than anything else. It's been one that I've gotten from the start. Like I said, I get them every single day, and I'm gonna do my best to answer them today. I'm no expert, but after being here for a year, I can touch on what I know, and we'll get it squared away for you. Now, of course, if you're coming to Thailand, no matter where you're coming from, there's two things you're gonna need. Obviously, you're gonna need a flight, or I mean, maybe a boat or a car, I guess, depending on where you're coming from. But more than likely, you're gonna need your flight, and you are gonna need your visa. Visas, visas, visas. Tempus, how long can I stay on this visa? How much does this one cost? What does that mean if I go here? Can I leave the country? Can I come back? Is it expensive? Can I get a discount? Is this visa still available? Will I get kicked out of the country? Will they not let me back in? The list goes on and on. Now, disclaimer, I am obviously no Thai immigration official, so I do not have all the answers, but I've gone through quite a few of the processes. I've talked to quite a few different people, whether it be visa agents, friends, Thai immigration themselves, so I feel like I do have a pretty good idea. So today I'm going to tell you what I know and touch on a few of the subjects that I've figured out along my path, and then maybe that answers some questions for you as well. It is a super sweaty day here in Jomtien. Obviously, I'm on my morning coffee run, and I do have a bit of a side mission. Finally ran into one of my favorite subscribers last night. Shout out Bad Q Garage. Dropped me some super cool Tempus TV stickers. I brought one with me. Let's see if we can find a little sneaky cool place to slap this bad boy up. Okay, so hopefully at this point, if you're coming, you've done a little bit of research on what visa might actually be best for you, but there are quite a few. I just can't go through every single one in this video, or else it'll be 30 minutes long. And to be honest, I'm not that knowledgeable on all of them, but there are a few that I can tell you about personally. So if you are coming from a Western country, if you're coming from the States, most of Europe, when you arrive in Thailand, you don't necessarily need to get a visa before you get here, obviously depending on how long you stay. But if you're only coming for vacation, you're only gonna be here for a few weeks, you don't really need to worry about it. You can just show up, you get a visa on arrival, which essentially means you're part of the visa exempt program, which means you don't really get a visa, you're just kind of exempt from it for 30 days. Now you can also extend this for another 30 days, so you can stay a total of 60 days in Thailand on this visa exempt program. So if you're only planning to stay for maybe, a few weeks or a month, you don't really need to worry about it. This video is gonna pertain more to people that are gonna stay here long term. Now, the most common visas for staying here long term are the retirement visa, maybe an education visa, volunteer visas, things like that. And most of these are good for up to a year. Now, this doesn't mean that you go in and you get this visa and then you just get stamped in and then boom, you don't have to deal with immigration for another year. That's not necessarily how it works. They all have their hoops you gotta jump through. And the one thing about Thai immigration is they are pretty strict about these things, so make sure you're doing everything that you're supposed to. But today I'm gonna go into the depth of the visa that I'm on, maybe some more options for you, and maybe give you a better idea of what you actually need to stay here for a while. Now, if you've been doing your research, which you obviously are because you're watching this video, shout on you, stay knowledgeable. I'm sure you've come across the whole visa run concept. So essentially how this works, there's kind of two ways. There's two different ones. There's a border run and a visa run. So essentially if you're here on a 60-day visa exempt type deal, you extend it for your 30 days and now your second 30 days is up. So now you have to leave the country. Yes, this is possible. I know plenty of people that do it. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it. In the past few months, it definitely seems like immigration is starting to crack down on this. Now, there's two ways you can go about it. A lot of the border runs, they're gonna take you to Cambodia in a van, and then you come back, and then you're good. You're gonna pay extra for this service. They're gonna kind of fast track you through the whole immigration process at the border. But border runs you can only do 2 times a year by land, and there's no way to get around that. You can't necessarily juice pockets or anything like that. You're allowed 2 per year, and according to the immigration website, you're allowed 6 per year via an airplane. Now, if you do the math, you get 60 days apiece. You can do 6 a year. What does that add up to? Good job, you're so smart. Yes, 12 months. So ideally, on paper, this does work, but I know people that have been going through the borders, and essentially, they're not getting let in, but they are catching a lot of flack at the border. It personally happened to me when I came back from Laos. I have another buddy from Bangkok, and he was actually leaving recently, and they told him he could not come back without a proper visa. So this is something I would say maybe if you want to do it 1 or 2 times and kind of get settled, maybe while you're getting an idea of what actual visa you want to get onto, okay, but I really wouldn't recommend it. If you don't want to deal with the stress, you want to stay for a while, just hop on one of the long-term visas. So what is going to be the best visa for you? Well, kind of goes on a case-by-case basis. I can't really tell you without knowing your full details, but there are certain requirements for each one, and if you fit into certain requirements, or if you're over a certain age, or you make a certain amount of money, or you get a pension, anything like that, it will open up your doors a lot more. You won't be restricted to certain types of visas. Now, if you're over 50 years old and you have a certain amount of money coming in every month, or you have a certain amount in the bank, the retirement visa is super easy, it's super convenient. All the visa agents can take care of it for you. I'm pretty sure you only have to check in 90 days. It might be every 180. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure what the actual bank account amount is, but if you meet those requirements, just go ahead and do that. But if you're like me and you meet all the other requirements, but unfortunately, you're not 50 years old yet, you're not gonna qualify for that. So you do have a couple more options. For instance, the visa that I'm on. You will know if you've hopped into any of my most recent live streams. I've let everybody know there, but for some reason, I've never really put it in a video. I've never said out loud which visa I'm actually on. So most recently, I just switched to an education visa. The way education visa works is you can sign up for a language school or even some Muay Thai gyms and stuff like that, and there are quite a few options. And then you'll pay X amount up front, and then you have to renew that, or essentially check in every 90 days for up to a year. So cost-wise, it ends up coming around, for everything up front, ends up being a little over $1,000 US, and then you're gonna pay 3,000 to 5,000 baht every 90 days. So if you wanna do that math, this can vary depending on which school or which agent you go to, but roughly, they're all about the same. And the way I look at it, you're also double dipping. You can learn some Thai, and you can even learn other languages here. You can go to language schools if you wanna learn English, if you're from a different part of the world, or you can even learn Japanese, Korean. Doesn't necessarily have to be Thai. Or if maybe you wanna go to a gym, Muay Thai gym, something like that, train. The requirements for the gyms are a little bit more. You have to go to more classes, and generally they are a little more expensive. But if you're under 50, like myself, then I think the education visa is a super good way to go about it. And I do believe you can get 2 of them. So once your first year is up, I do believe you can get another one. Don't quote me on that. I haven't really looked into it quite yet, but most recently, that's what I switched to. Now you may know I have been here for a year already, so you might be saying, well, Tempus, how did you stay for a year already if you just switched to an education visa? Well, I was doing the visa exempt program, and I was leaving and traveling a little bit, and then I would come back. Now, I did 4 border runs in total. I went 5 total. I went to Cambodia 4 times, and then I went to Laos 1 time. Now, you probably remember that. You said, well, Tempus, you can only go twice. How'd you go to Cambodia 4 times? I timed it perfectly, because something that I didn't mention earlier is it's 2 times in a calendar year. It's not 2 times in like a rolling year. So me, I showed up in July of last year. Do the math, 60 days, that put me to the end of the year. It reset, and then I had 2 more. So that worked out for me. Going across to Cambodia, I used a visa service every time except once. Once I went by myself and it was no big deal. With the visa service, it's pretty quick. It's about a 4-hour drive from Pattaya each way, which is kind of a bummer, but it's super easy. The only time I did get some flack is when I came back from Laos. They saw my passport, they said, hey, can't be doing this. They had signs up and everything that said no more border runs, blah, blah, blah. And I was in Laos for a week. It's not like I just left for a day and came back. They did eventually let me in, but I had to let them know, hey, I'm switching visas. I'm gonna be on an education visa. I needed more time on my current visa to process the paperwork. Because pro tip, if you do want to switch to an education visa, you need to have at least 30 days left on your current visa. So if that's something that you want to do in country, either wait till you extend so you have that full 30 days, or do it as soon as you land. But let them know, and eventually they did let me in, but I did get a lot of crap for it. Now, if you're saying, well, damn, I'm a little intimidated, that sounds like it's gonna be a lot of paperwork and a lot of hoops to jump through. you're not necessarily wrong. Me, personally, I went through a visa agent, so if this is something that you want to do, I'd be happy to recommend the lady that I go to. If you'd like, feel free to just comment below and I'll go ahead and link you to her profile so you can find out, you can talk to her. She's a super nice lady and she does a little bit of everything. Not only does she deal with visas, if you're staying here for a while and you need help getting a Thai bank account, or maybe you want to get your Thai motorbike or driver's license, she can help with that too. So feel free, if you need a little insight on an agent here in Pattaya, I got you. Just drop a comment below. So what did we learn today? Well, hopefully we learned that it might be a lot less stressful for you if you're planning on staying here long term to just go ahead and get the proper visa. If you don't want to do that, or maybe the funds aren't available just quite yet, it is possible to run and still do the visa exempt program border run type thing, but I really don't recommend it. For me at least, it's super stressful. Immigration's stressful as it is, so just make your life a little bit easier. As always guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Tempus TV. If you'd like to see more and learn about Thailand, you know what to do.